All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to show you the most overpowered build that is currently in Stormgate, okay? Celestials is the proud owner of a unit called the Morph Core, which is a unit that can transform into any building that you want it to transform into, but it can do that without the power field of the arc ship or another building already present. So what you do is you start the game by making a single prism, and you rally it onto the Therium. You make a creation chamber when you have 150 Luminite, and you fly your Morph Core to the spot where you like to proxy. I like to proxy my Starforge next to a camp like this. The speed camp has units that have light armor, and then the health camp as well has units that are light armored units, which means that the Vector can kill these creep camps exceptionally quickly, and you can use one Vector to kill these creep camps. So we only build the one prism, we build the creation chamber, and then you make a power bank so that you can boost this building immediately without going into negative power. It's very, very, very important that you build this power bank after you get the creation chamber, because if you don't, you will overcharge this building with the power surge ability, which is your top bar ability that makes buildings produce 50% faster, and then you'll be in red power and you won't even get the effect of the bonus. So you're going to see here, we pop out this first Vector. I don't know what's going on here, so I go up into his base to scout, and what you do is you just non-stop build Vectors out of this Starforge, and you just try to kill him, right? You just try to kill him. I kind of like move back and forth here, but the best thing that you can possibly do is just go straight into their base with the first Vector every single time. I kind of waited here for the ability to wear off, because when you use the blink ability of the Vector, right here, you can see this one has a blue aura. He takes 50% bonus damage from anything that hits him. But as you can see here, if I just come in here with the first Vector, there would have been literally nothing this guy could do. I would have just killed all these workers way before he was able to build a turret here. I end up killing 3 workers anyways. I blink out, and now that I have 3 Vectors, I'm going to take on the creep camp. And what we do with the creep camp is we use the money that you get from killing the creeps to then build yourself your economy, right? So we start killing these creep camps, and each one of these, I think, gives 60 Luminite. And now we're going to start building prisms out of the arc ship, right? Because I'm floating a lot of money now, even though I'm still building Vectors. And what you do from this point, if your opponent doesn't just straight up die, right? If they turtled up in their main base and they built a turret up here and they put a buzzsaw guy in it, you're going to just go take every creep camp on the map. I choose to go for a Morph Core here instead of for a prism because I have full map control and I can kill every creep on the map. And these guys here, I think they give us 80 Luminite every time we kill one. So you see 80 Luminite comes down. I build a prism after my Morph Core. I'm still building Vectors, and then we just get to go kill every single creep camp on the map while our opponent is sort of just stuck in their base, unable to do anything. This player didn't even build units that are capable of fighting against the Vectors, which would be things like the Hedgehog and the Atlas and the Vulcan. The bio units really don't function versus the Vector currently. The Exo is a light unit, so it takes the bonus damage. You can see here, I go for the collection array. I start making more prisms. And at home, the transition from the Vectors is to get yourself Argents and Kree, right? You want to build your other core unit as like an army that can tank and fight in a straight-up fight. Like I said, we've gotten 1, 2, 3... and we're going to go over here and get creep camp number 4 and 5, and that represents about 1,000 resources here in the early game. What I do, though, is I just come into his base, and because he hasn't been making exos, he has no Therium mining, he actually cannot defend the point between his bases because he just can't come out here and shoot these units. So what I do is I just keep poking away. We just focus fire a worker down here, focus fire a worker there. And because the turret without a buzzsaw cannon in it really can't do that much damage, we just be annoying as hell, right? And like I said, back at home, you get your Guardian Nexus so that you can get the upgrades for your Kree and for your Argents. I like to just make Argents first instead of just rushing straight to the Kree, because even though the Argent doesn't function very well as a standalone unit, when it has other things there in front for it to tank, it does do very well. It can put a lot of damage out when you start to get to a higher number of them. You're going to notice here I've stopped building Vectors. You only want to go to like 5 or 6 vectors, something like that. You really don't want too many because if you'll pay attention during the fights, they really get in the way of each other when there's too many of them. And then you're just in like a spot where that really feels bad. My opponent right now technically is quite a bit ahead of me in the income department because I built my array very late and I haven't been building prisms because I had to invest in these vectors. But the difference maker is that we have these creep camps, and I killed. I'm gonna end up killing 5 creep camps, and that represents about 1,000 resources in this early stage of the game, which is just enough for us to like then build a second arc ship and an array. And I have 3 creation chambers now. We're getting the upgrade for the Argents first because it increases their movement speed, which is very, very important with this unit because they're actually really slow. And they just don't, they can't like chase enemies, and they also can't escape from enemies if they don't get that Argent upgrade. So like I said, this has provided us with an epic level of map control. We have every creep camp on the map. Our opponent here is trying his best to keep up economically by just making more expansions. But you're going to notice that like it just doesn't matter, right? Even though he's expanding and has 3 bases building workers, his economy really just isn't that good because he's only got 5 workers here. He's only got 3 or 4 workers, 6 workers over here. So his eco is only like 2.5 bases worth of workers right now. And he's having to spend so much time with his workers power building turrets to be safe against the vectors that he's not even getting economy, right? So I've gone for the tier 2 in the meantime. I don't like to go for the tier 2 until after I have the Kree upgrade and the Argent upgrade. But when you go for the tier 2, you just come over to these harder to kill camps. Like the resource camps have a bruiser minion at it, which is very hard for the vectors to kill. But once you get to tier 2, you can use the extra top bar ability called Catalyst something, and it just instantly kills the creep camps. They just float up into the air and they fly away to heaven, and you get all the money and you come over here and take the creep camp. So like I said, this vector opener is very powerful. No one seems to have a good answer for this yet. And then our eventual composition that we're choosing to go for here is Argent, Kree, and Animancer, okay? You can try to add the Kabbalist to your army, but at the moment, I think it's important to keep it simple and not go for multiple spellcasters. Even though going for multiple spellcasters can be really powerful, I would not recommend going for extra spellcasters, okay? So we go for Argent, Kree, and then we add Animancers when we have the money, right? So I'm constantly building Kree and Argents right now. And the next step is to make the Ascension Matrix. I think it's called the Ascension Matrix. And then make a... what's the one that builds the Animancers? Yeah, Ascension Matrix and a Legion Hall come down when you have the money and the attention to do this. You drop these buildings down, and then what you're going to do is immediately get the upgrade for the Animancer. My opponent did a pretty admirable job here of like just turtling it out and waiting and trying to build a death ball. But as you can see, my army supply is just like overwhelmingly ahead, right? The supply is I'm double his supply. And it's all because these creep camps right now, in the most recent balance patch, they added a 60% income bonus to the creep camps. See, I have full prisms here, I have full prisms here, and we're making prisms with both arc ships. We're making more morph cores, and I have a therium extractor here, and very soon here, I'll build a second therium extractor. Therium purifier, excuse me, because when you build the therium purifier, it automatically makes a prism for you, so you don't have to think about it. You don't have to like rally your arc ship with a prism over here and like sit there forever. Build therium purifiers next to your therium. You won't regret it. It really helps a lot. So like I said, we're getting that upgrade for the Animancers, and then the tier 2, the first tier of upgrade for the Animancer unlocks the On the Hunt spell, which is an area effect invisibility. So you cast the area of effect invisibility, and then it gives you a movement speed buff. You can see here, I'm kind of like not certain I can kill my opponent, even though he literally has no army supply right now. And it's just because these turrets are like actually really powerful. If he hits the Bob overcharge and he like grabs all 12 of his workers and tells them to repair the flak cannon, you're just not going to kill it unless you can kill it in one hit. And it's just kind of hard to get on top of those, so I'm just waiting it out, and I'm building a superior army composition to him. Like I said, keep building prisms, keep building morph cores, go get more bases, add more Kree, add more Argent, and then when you get the Ascension Matrix and the Legion Hall, these are the 2 buildings that unlock you to be able to get the Arc Fortress, which is your tier 3 or command structure. And then what that does is it unlocks the 2 abilities for the Argent and the Kree. The Argent's second ability is the Long Shot module, which gives it +2 range. And the Kree's second ability is Radiant Fury, which makes it so that when they use their Blaze of Light ability, where they become invulnerable on death and then explode, it does 20 more damage, which doubles the damage that it does, and it makes them able to move while they are exploding. I completely missed this fight over here. I'll go back a little bit so you guys can witness, even though it's going to be messed up because the replays are messed up. You can see here his units are doing the last action that they were doing before I started replaying. But we just absolutely crush him here. I have the little scanner unit. This is like an observer for Protoss, except you have to put it onto trees. You can see here, we just run him down, right? I'm ahead 70 supply right now. We throw down the Purification Beam on top of our Argents, and I use the Animus Redistribution ability on the unit that he put the shield on, right? So you can see there, when the Animus Redistribution tether is on an enemy unit, the Animancer will heal all of your units around herself, right? So even though he's doing massive area of effect damage here, we're just, like, healing in the face of that, right? So we just wipe him out here. Like I said, keep your composition simple. Just add the Animancers. Kree, Argent, Animancer. It's really strong. You will struggle if they manage to get to their tier 3 unit. If they get to their tier 3 unit, the Helicarrier, I'm going to be honest, I don't know what you're supposed to do against that unit yet, but I think the main answer is going to be adding the Cabal, the little floaty orb guy. Oh, you can see here, this feels great, right? We black hole on top of his minerals, and we black hole on the reinforcements that are trying to come in. And at home, like I said, I'm just continuing to spam out more of the exact same units while I build my economy even higher. And my opponent is super dead now, right? Anyways, if you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and let me know. This game is very much over, even though it goes on for quite a bit longer here, because my opponent just refuses to leave the game. This is what I've been doing versus Infernal players and Vanguard players. We do the proxy Starforge. We make vectors. If they turtle up and don't die to the first 2 or 3 vectors, you just go take every creep camp on the map. If they leave their base, you just murder all of their exos or gaunts with the vectors, and you just blink away when you get low HP. So, once again, if you enjoyed this, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. Hupsaiya loves you.